Welcome back to part 2 of Nepatya Prayoga Kala, or the Kala of curating or styling your personal look. In this episode, we are going to be exploring this Kala through the specific lenses of psychology and neuroaesthetics. Now, if you haven't watched part 1, then I would highly recommend that you watch part 1 and then come to part 2. In our last episode, we discussed engaging our senses, following our intuition and embodying our personal style, and experiencing joy. And now we are going to dive deeper and understand all of this through the lenses of psychology and neuroaesthetics. Psychology has 3 distinct concepts to describe all that we discussed in part 1. Concept number 1, enclothed cognition. Enclothed cognition is the influence that clothes have on a wearer's psychological processes. I have mentioned about Tata's elaborate morning ritual as he prepared for his morning worship in one of my previous episodes. I have read about writers and authors, and this is pre-digital era, okay? I've read about writers and authors who would suit up completely and then go to their study to start writing. And in a more contemporary context, we are all familiar with dress codes: formal, casual, semi-formal, smart casual. It is because all of these attires, their color, textures, styles and fit evoke or impact our temperament and our emotion. Psychological concept number 2, embodied cognition. The influence that body states have on states of mind. We discussed how Nepatya Prayoga is a sensorial experience. Right? The touch of the garment, the ornaments, metal, flowers or any other material on our skin. And also the end experience of how the entire look makes us feel and has an impact on the state of mind. If we feel comfortable in our physical selves, in our physical body, then we feel very comfortable in our mind. Psychological concept 3, positive contagion. How performance abilities can be influenced simply by touching or wearing items or garments. I think this is my favorite. We have all heard of superhero stories, right? Folklore or mythology or even modern popular media. My favorite growing up was Shekhar Kapoor's Mr. India, where wearing a bracelet on a wrist, it was actually a cloaking device, would make one invisible. One of my nephews, when he was barely 2, was a big Spider-Man fan, and he would wear this cape around his neck and feel that he is Spider-Man. He felt like he channelized those superpowers of Spider-Man, and he would giggle and transform himself into the superhero when we would just lift him up and hold him up there like that. We have all seen this with ourselves as kids, or now that we may be having kids of our own, where we might tie a towel around our neck and call it a cape and feel like we have superpowers. Wear a mask and feel like we have transformed into a superhero, right? According to Natya Shastra, Nepatya is also the word for green room, where actors transform into characters. While all of these may be exaggerated examples of fiction, they are not far from the truth. For example, doctors in their scrubs or security personnel in their uniforms. Now, all of these send a very strong message. In our everyday life, when we are wearing non-codified outfits, we all have a favorite outfit that is probably a lucky charm. It could be a piece of jewelry, it could be a specific garment, it could also be our favorite color that we feel is lucky for us, or it could be an ancestral heirloom that we hold very close to ourselves, and we make sure that we take it with us or wear it on us when we are going for something important, perhaps an exam or an interview, because we feel having that on us boosts our confidence, it gives us inner strength, and it also dusts the magical powder of luck on us. Now, let me tell you that none of this is stupid or baseless, because in doing this, there is something that happens in our brain. So let's understand what happens in the brain when we engage in an artistic practice or an aesthetic experience. And we are going to do that through an excerpt from this book, Your Brain on Art by Susan Maximin and Ivy Ross. Now, if neuroaesthetics has caught your attention and you want to learn more about it, then this is a book that I would highly recommend. Alternately, you could also look at neuroartsresourcecenter.com, which also has a lot of resources on this subject. So, coming back to exploring Nepatya Prayoga. The brain is made up of several neural networks. One such network is called the default mode network, aka DMN. DMN is known to be the home of mind wandering, dreams and daydreaming. It's a catalyst for wondering, and it's also a place where you think about things that don't have explicit goals. Now, both rituals and play are two activities that don't have any explicit goals. When you are engaging in something artistic, how you choose to express yourself is partially influenced by the default mode network. A big part of what happens when we interact with an artwork or when we have an aesthetically pleasing experience is that we have an aha moment, where we have been able to look at a problem or a situation in a new way because art has enabled us to express things in a way that we couldn't do before in any other way. And that way, the default mode network helps us process when an art or artistic practice matters to us. And in this case, adorning the body, the experience of adorning the body and how it leaves us feeling, it makes it matter to us. Now, the opposite of all of this is also true. A classic example being what happened to many of us during the pandemic. When work became remote, it became a norm to work in your pajamas. So much so that the boundaries between work hours, personal hours disappeared. And this inability to distinguish and segregate our time, our energies, is not good for our mental health. Boundaries are essential to our overall well-being, and asserting them with intentionality is very important. And Nepatya Prayoga, this everyday art form, is such a powerful artistic medium, tool to assert our boundaries, right? It's such a beautiful ritual and so easily doable. You know, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be simple, but it just makes this boundary setting very easy. Another aspect that I love about this kala is this idea of impermanence. Now, if you watched our first kala, columns, the fascinating thing about column is that a column is always made knowing that it will be destroyed by the end of the day. Similarly, when we style ourselves, when we create a look, we create that knowing that this look is only going to last for a few hours. We are going to step out of it. We are going to get out of it a few hours later. The brain knows that it's not forever. I think it is amazing how indigenous knowledge and ancestral wisdom holds the key to so many contemporary puzzles. I mean, imagine, not only did they know these little secrets of how to lead a holistic life, but they also seamlessly incorporated that and made it an everyday practice through the medium of ritual. I'm going to stop here for now. However, I would love to know about a garment or an ornament or a piece of adornment that holds a very special meaning for you. What's its story? Where did it come from? And how do you use it? I hope you will share it with me in the comments. And until then, remember to keep adorning yourself.